Now, for me personally, and certainly as a journalist, this was the meeting of a lifetime. It was extraordinary to be granted an in-depth meeting with the wartime leader when he's leading his nation in major battles. Imagine having the chance to sit down with Winston Churchill during his fight against the Nazis. Well, that's what this meeting was like. The Prime Minister was strong and tough and very clear in his vision, but also warm, engaging, open and interested. He asked questions about Australia, about my family, even who was looking after my children while I was in Israel. It's highly unusual for a journalist to be invited into the very heart of his prime ministerial operations and to be given so much time. I can tell you that the criticism from Washington that Netanyahu doesn't have a plan or that he doesn't know what he's doing in this war is utterly wrong. After speaking with him at length, he does have a clear strategy for the war and he outlined it. It's obvious his motive is the survival of the Jewish state. But he's also fighting the terrorists and Iran to protect the world from dark forces. And Netanyahu's success in not just weakening, but smashing Iran's main proxy groups has been astonishing. As I've said before, incredible military feats. The pager and the walkie-talkie attacks were the most sophisticated and targeted strikes of our time. Netanyahu also ended Hassan Nasrallah's 32-year reign by ordering his execution in a Beirut bunker. At the moment he was executed, Netanyahu was speaking at the United Nations. It's possible the last thing the terror leader saw on this earth was his arch-enemy speaking. And all that remains of Hamas is its leader Yahya Sinwar, who is too scared to emerge after watching virtually every other senior terror figure be executed in cunning moves by Israel. Netanyahu has taken on the terrorists, all the while facing incredible international pressure from weak, woke leaders. As you know, I often speak about the weak international leadership that demands a ceasefire of Israel, even though there are still 101 hostages, even when hundreds of rockets are being fired at Israel, and even when terrorists remain on the doorstep. If Netanyahu would have listened to the international community, including US President Joe Biden, and had a ceasefire, both Hamas and Hezbollah would still pose a major threat to Israel. Instead, they're all but destroyed. As you can see in the photograph, he has a large map of Africa, the Middle East, Europe and Eastern Europe in his office. It's a constant reminder of just how tiny the Jewish state is. We've seen that Netanyahu is not going to ask permission from weak-kneed international leaders to defend his citizens and ensure Israel's survival. The future of the single Jewish homeland in the world now rests squarely on his shoulders. And it's why, any day now, we're expecting Israel to take on Iran and not let the evil Ayatollahs live out their dream to destroy Israel. And not just Israel, but all of us in the West.